And away we go. It is the Nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com, brought to you, as always, by our friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone. Everything Galactic. Number 2 chicken in the city. Number 2 chicken sandwich in the city. Number 3 gluten-free option in the city. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that Galactic Fried Chicken is awesome, and you need to get your ass there and take advantage. That's all. I think that's pretty simple.
Sure.
Along with our fellow partners, the Holy Grail, number 1 bar in Cincinnati, and Urban Artifact, number 3 tap room in Cincinnati. We tell you guys the best places in the city. Like that's how I handle sponsorships, right?
I feel like Tina Turner should have just been singing right there, like "Simply the Best."
That's what we do here. All right, guys, it's been a really shitty day for me. So this is going to essentially serve as your nightcap and your practice notes. Just got home from the hospital a little bit ago. Tried to sit down and write. My brain is writing is not going to happen tonight. So let's get to some practice notes, shall we, Aaron?
Let's.
Busy day. Like today, this is always a very tough day of spring practice because the golf outing, the alumni golf outing was yesterday, which means the captain's breakfast was today, which means a lot of former Bearcats just hanging around at practice. And when you've been doing what I do for 16 years, you make a lot of very good relationships with a lot of former Bearcats, which means I spend a lot of this day standing around talking to former Bearcats, which is not a bad place to be. Which
Sounds
also
dreadful.
Yeah, which also is going to net us one of our Big Fish podcast guests coming up, not this coming week, but the following week. And all I can say is when I confirmed that he was going to come on the podcast, he ended saying yes with Sure, I'll come on your podcast, He did. He's almost Canadian now. He's almost like 100%. He married a Canadian. He's almost 100% Canadian.
Don't you know?
No, that's Minnesota. Don't you know?
Close enough.
Canada's sorry.
Sorry, I'm gonna go sit in that booth over there.
I mean, we're not fooling anyone now. I'll actually give a take of his today.
Oh,
Zach Caleras has agreed here, not this coming week, but next week, hopefully to be on the BCJ pod. So we're going to iron out details there. I can't wait to hear from him. It's the first time he's been back in a while. So campus has changed a lot. Nippert Stadium changed. The city changed. Like he said, he was down and over the Rhine. Like when I was in college, we were told not to go down the hill.
correct.
And now everybody's like, let's go down the hill. So excited to have Zach on.
Still ain't walking down that hill.
No. Excited to have Zach on and get his thoughts. You know his who he was most impressed with today?
No, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
It was a quarterback.
I assumed as much.
It was not Ben Bryant or Evan Prater. It was Brady Lichtenberg. Brady Lichtenberg had a really good day today. Like if I was picking which of the three had the best day today, it would have been Brady Lichtenberg, which is kind of relevant because they did the first half of practice as usual, and then they went into about a 90-minute scrimmage for the second half of practice. More than half. The second portion of practice was a 90-minute scrimmage.
Now, do you think that they did that because they just wanted to do it, or did they do that because the guys were in town and they wanted to show off what they had?
Some of that, I'm sure, but normally they'll do Saturdays are kind of scrimmage days, right? Like
Saturdays are for the boys. Yeah,
you work through the week to get to the weekend. On the weekend, they let you scrimmage a little bit. Brady Lichtenberg to Blue Smith was the hot ticket today.
My boy.
Yeah, he's whipping up on third string DBs now. They were lighting it up. Like one 70-yard touchdown, 40 yards, a really impressive jump ball on the sideline for like 30 yards, 40 yards.
Just to Blue?
Those are just completions to Blue. From
That's
Brady
almost,
to Blue.
I mean, that's 180 yards, I believe.
It was a lot. It was a lot. He probably had 250 yards receiving in practice today.
That's wild.
So Blue had a really good day, but Brady Lichtenberg had an outstanding day. A day so good that a champion Bearcat great was like, who is that? And why is he not competing for the starting job? So
absolutely wild.
That would be the headline for the day. The offense was really, really good today in general, though. You name it. Evan and Ben both had very good days. Let's see. Will Pauling, guys that made my notes. Will Pauling, Trey Tucker, Chris Scott. Chris Scott is going to be a factor in this offense. I'm becoming more and more convinced by the day. He does and go watch the YouTube video interview today with Chris Scott. You get a sense for that kid. That's a kid that's gonna be a factor here.
So no one's going to be confused anymore as to who Tyler Scott is and who Chris Scott is.
No. I don't know why they would be confused anyway. They're not similar, but other than they have the same last name.
I can't wait for the inevitable Dan Horde. Great Scott.
Ethan Wright had a really nice long run today. Stephen Bird had a 50-yard gain on a sick jump cut in the hole. Ooh. Where he just was like, oh, I knew he was a power guy, but he got some wheels to him. Jaden Thompson, Trey Tucker again, Will Pauling again, Shema Mateer, Charles McClellan had a long run and got to the point where they're like 15 yards from the end zone, and it was just him and Javon Hicks. And he did one of those right, left, right, where Hicks was like trying to find him and took it in for a touchdown. Miles Montgomery had a 40-yard touchdown.
So the defense just looked terrible today.
They weren't great. Evan threw a touchdown, 20-yard touchdown to Nick Mardner down the right sideline. McClellan had a wheel route touchdown. Ethan Wright with an impressive goal line touchdown. Chris Scott with the touchdown. I didn't write many defenders' names today. Ironically, the one defender I had multiple times, Sincere Lewis, freshman. So first time he really has flashed a couple times.
I know
he looks the part, man.
Well, I was gonna say I know he stood out to you as soon as you saw him, physically,
right. Jake Hugh had a good coverage, a couple good coverage plays. Todd Bumpus had a pass breakup, but it was a rough day for Todd Bumpus. Normally, he is as fundamentally sound as you get. He tripped on a route that gave up a long touch, slipped. Wow. Not tripped, but slipped in coverage, or he lost his footing, gave up a long touchdown. I think that kind of maybe got in his head a little bit, which is something that those young guys are going to have. That's one of the main things they're going to have to learn to work through. Is this was I had a coach that told me this a million times when I was in high school. One mistake won't kill you, two will. Meaning you spend your time dwelling on mistake number one, you're going to make mistake number two, mistake number three, mistake number four. And I think that got to bump a little bit early in practice today. But yeah, the running backs were very good. It was mostly live. There was still there wasn't full contact with the ones.
Right.
But the twos and threes were getting after it pretty fully. Yeah, a lot of offense today. A lot of offense today. Now, some of that might have also been I was flapping my gums then when you're flapping your gums, you notice the offense, right? Like that's what catches your attention away from the conversation you're in the middle of.
Unless somebody really sticks somebody and you hear it.
Yeah, like when Sincere Lewis hit Stephen Bird on, like, they tried to get a little swing pass out in the flat, and Sincere smacked him and was like, ooh, all right, son. But yeah, so that was probably, the defense was probably better than my notes will give him credit for. I thought Jaheim Thomas had a good day. I do have him on here a couple times. Had to flip the page. But yeah, that's the overview of scrimmage day on Saturday, and really good to see a lot of the old guys around. Good to catch up with a lot of guys, as is typically the case. If I get around Craig Carey, me and Craig Carey just take shots at you. Craig Carey is my 2009 Josh Wiley.
Okay.
You know how me and Josh are. We're just constantly digging at each other. Yes. That's Craig Carey. So Craig Carey and Tom DeTemple and Zach were kind of hanging out. I got to get those guys. Like, we got to work on. They were just hanging out behind the defense, like where the defense stands on the sidelines. You can't see the play. Like, we got to move down here, fella. You got to walk 15 yards down this way so we can watch the action.
Because otherwise you have to go up into the stands yourself as media to try and watch. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I did the best I could. I gave it my all. It was a legit effort by me, but sometimes it's difficult. Haruki Nakamura, talked to Haruki with Dan Horde for quite a while today. Awesome dude. I love Haruki.
That'd be a fun one too.
We've had him. Haruki has done the podcast before in the past. Yeah.
Before my time.
Before your time. I mean, I wouldn't mind having him back on again. I just don't. It would probably be good for like the newer crowd to hear from Haruki. We were hoping Travis might show up, but they went out last night. So the last I heard, about halfway through practice, I think he was headed to Cleveland, going back home to see the fam. So he didn't make it to practice today, which was unfortunate. My daughter hit me up all morning. Is Travis there? Is Travis there? Is Travis there? I guess she saw on his Instagram stories last night or something that he was in town.
I know the Bearcats put it out on their Twitter.
Okay. Yeah. Where's Dad? Where's Travis? Is he there? Can I come meet him? Relax, kid. Just relax. One of these days.
Well, I'm here. How would like if you were already at practice, how was she going to get there?
She was going to make Kelly bring her to Nippert and drop her off. So Yeah. Kelly was out of breath going to the bathroom and back this morning. That's how I knew we were in big trouble. It was like, you stay here in bed, and I'll be back in a couple hours, and we'll deal with this when I get back. So she stayed in bed until 2:30, and then took her to the emergency room. My life is fun. It is what it is. Only other real news of the day. Do you have any other questions about practice from today?
I mean, obviously you had a lot going on between talking to players and trying to take as many notes as you could. So that's one thing about taking notes is it's really hard to continue to pay attention as you're taking notes. Like,
right.
There's a certain give and take to all of it. So I can't get too deep on anything that you haven't already talked about. I mean,
you can ask. I don't know what I'd be able to answer.
Well, I mean, we already kind of talked about the things I would have asked about would have been the things that we talked about late the other night. I guess it was Thursday night. Would have been defensive line, would have been defensive backs, would have been receivers, which you touched on. And the only thing I guess you didn't get to was special teams.
Ryan Coe was 3 of 4 today. 1 of 2 from 47. He pushed one just right, and then hit a couple from, I think, 35 and the 35-40 range.
With or without people in his face? Or was it
Uh,
all live?
It's been live, so Carey has not been in his face when they're live.
Okay.
But I'm sure Josh and Renfro were somewhere within shouting distance screaming at him.
I just didn't know if it was like during the scrimmage portion or.
Yeah, it was during the scrimmage portion.
Okay.
Sauce was there today. I saw Dez there today. Apparently, Dez spoke to the captain's club at breakfast this morning and made a really good impression. Shocking.
Right. I mean, as long as he's not mentioning Complicated by Avril Lavigne, I guess.
I mean,
that might be the weirdest Dez moment I've experienced.
Why do people care, man? Like, he likes what he likes. Why do you care?
I just found it odd.
I mean, I'm just saying. Why do you care?
Choice.
People aren't allowed to like what they like.
Hey, I like some weird shit. Trust me.
Right. So just let people like what they like.
I did like that Avril Lavigne also retweeted it.
Did she really?
Yeah, with the punk rocker.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
You said you had one spot of other news, though.
Oh, it was nothing major. I was going to say the team was George Warhop. Do you know who George Warhop is?
Negative.
Okay. He played at Cincinnati in the 90s. Or 80s, sorry. Early 80s. And he is now the offensive line coach for the Houston Texans. And he spoke to the team after practice today. So that was a pretty good speech for those guys to get from an old head that, you know, he's been in the NFL, SMU, Boston College. He started in the NFL in 1996 as a coach.
And he's straight through?
Straight through, yeah. St. Louis Rams, Arizona Cardinals, Cowboys, 49ers, Browns, Bucks, Jaguars, Texans.
Just a 26-year run. No big deal.
Yeah, as an NFL offensive line coach. It's
pretty good.
Pretty good. So he spoke to the team after practice today. Good day. I love Captain's Breakfast Day because there's just a lot of, like, you know, my guy Garrett was there. Ryan Leahy was there with him. Kevin Highland, former lineman, was there. Just a lot of familiar faces. A lot of familiar faces, and always good to, you know, chop it up with those guys. And the funny part is, like, a lot of them are members now, or, you know, follow along with the Twitter account, this, that, and the other. So what ends up happening now, which is so foreign, like strange to me, is I have former players asking me, tell me about this team. And I'm like, how do we get here?
How you mean?
How do we get here? How is it that, you know, all these guys that I covered, they come back now and they come to me for what's this team looking like? How are we doing?
Because they know your body of work.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just in general, like the you know, that stuff messes with your brain. Just like, how did we get here?
I know that feeling.
You're just starting. You're just beginning to experience it. The other Mike Saunders committed to Utah today. So one of the Bearcat transfers off the board. Not a shock. Gabe Madsen there, Tim Morris there. We wish Mikey well. As everybody knows, I've had a great relationship with Mike, with his dad, with his mom. Not as great a relationship with his little brother, who insists that LeBron James is the greatest basketball player in the history of basketball.
Odd take.
He's like 14, 15.
Doesn't even know what Michael Jordan looks like then.
Right. So we have spent so many AAU tournaments, like me just like goading him into saying something dumb and then coming over the top on him. And then, like, we almost had a game stopped at one point in time because the official thought we were like
Fighting.
Yeah,
Actually fighting.
Actually, because you know how.
Hey, it's crazy house. Yes.
Well, and sometimes my Twitter feed becomes like Twitter me becomes real me, where I'm just yelling. But yeah, so I will miss the Saunders family immensely. I wish them nothing but the best of luck, and yeah, that's about it, man. I don't have a lot more. I just kind of got home a little bit before we started this, took the dogs out, and I'm gonna watch the second half of Duke, North Carolina, and
I was gonna say, who you got on this one?
Hopefully North Carolina. Why would anybody be rooting for Duke here?
People are weird.
Yeah. So hopefully the Heels pull this out for Wes Miller, if nothing else.
Also, how much fun is it? As I keep saying, how much fun is it to be able to say, "Sorry, Coach K, you're done."
Yeah. Duke's got the better team, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. They got the better talent.
Did you see that they dropped like Nike shirts just for this game tonight? Like they dropped the NI and the E, and it's just the K and the swoosh. Like, get over yourself. Again, this is why I respect the way Roy Williams did it. No big farewell tour, no ceremony or expecting thank you gifts at every place that he went. Was upset he didn't get one from North Carolina, which okay,
yeah,
man.
Right. Give me a break.
They gave you a gift. The door. Yeah. See ya. Right.
Get the.
I'm really hoping it happens.
We'll see. It's halftime now, so watch the second half and wait to hopefully hear from Kelly as she gets settled in her room and gets to get a night of hopefully comfortable, quiet sleep away from kid, dogs, husband, all of those things. Sports. Oh, she's in heaven in this house because the sports just exists in the four walls of this office. In the old house, the office was in the upstairs. Was like the whole upstairs was office / bedroom. This house, I'm downstairs. I got doors, 2 doors. You can close those doors, and the sports doesn't exist in her life anymore.
There you go.
She loves that. All right. We'll see maybe tomorrow night. I can't promise anything right now, but if we can, we'll be here. He's Aaron Smith. I'm Chad Brendel. It is The Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!